Okay, so here's a last sort of summary of how these things work, just so we can recap. Okay, so this is the play buffer. Okay, this is where we write things that we are not going to ever undo again. And by writing, I mean we mix them in, we add them in. Okay, it starts off with zeros, and we're going to be adding things in. We're always listening to the play buffer and the record buffer, and that comes to the output. Okay, so that means this is really our temporary space, and so we're listening to everything we've recorded before from here, and we're listening to what we just most recently recorded in here. Okay, and the idea is that whenever we start recording, right, wherever we are when we start, okay, we are going to mark this index, okay, as a position that we, from this point forward, we are going to move them samples over here and add them, okay, and then we're going to clear them. We're going to make it a 0, and then we're going to bring our recording inside, okay, until we wrap around. When we get back to X, if recording continues past, if the recording stops, here, we're done. It still continues on, and it still moves samples in, because remember, when we started recording, we basically said, I want to copy this entire buffer and add it to this one. And so it's going to mark that point where it's got to stop doing that. So it's going to keep doing that. Even if we stop recording here, it's going to stop recording, but it's going to keep playing and keep moving, copying it in and clearing it out. But if it happens to run all the way around to the beginning again, it has already copied the entire previous buffer and added it to here, and we will hear it on the next pass. So we do not need to continue moving it over. We clear that, and we just continue in the loop process. We just continue and continue and continue recording and overlaying and overlaying. Remember, these samples coming in are being added. So we're making this composite layer. We haven't stopped recording, but when we stop and start again, that's when that entire thing is then going to get copied again. So we're layering on top of this every time we hit the start recording button. When we hit the start recording button, it means whatever's in here, we are going to move into here, each sample as we go, and then replace it with the new recording coming in. And when we're done, we come to the end, okay? This will have everything we recorded before mixed together, and this will only have the most recent recording. That way, if we want to do undo will simply mean from wherever you are until you come around, round robin all over again, erase what's ever in here. You can still drop new samples in if you're recording at the same time that you're undoing, because you're just marking a point where you're going to undo and you're going to stop undoing, and you can record new data over it, and you don't have to worry that they're going to clobber, because it resets when it comes around one more pass. Okay, so whenever you hit start recording, that's when you're going to initiate a transfer of the old stuff into the bottom, and it's going to happen on the fly. It's not going to stop and copy the whole thing. It's going to do it as the index pointer is moving sample by sample. When you hit stop recording, okay, all right, when you hit stop recording, that's just going to mean that that's just when you stop. It doesn't really mean anything at all, okay, right now as far as I can tell. Except maybe for undo, we might want to do something where undo, doesn't clear all the way up past that. But I have to think a little bit about that corner case before I move forward. But yeah, so this is it. I'm going to post these 3 videos up onto a private channel on YouTube and share them with you guys. I think this is it. I spent quite a bit of time on this. I had a few ideas. I think some of them didn't really go where they needed to, but this is definitely going to be good.